This is just a classic rescue story gone horribly, sadly, tragically wrong. It's really awful that the cats had to live like this. There's no gas and there's no water, and it's wet and cold and damp, and 99% of the cats were really, really sick.
Last year was a grueling year for our animal rescuers. Animal Friends Humane Officer Kathy Hecker has seen the unthinkable, from cat hoarders to dogfighting rings to other devastating cases of animal abuse and neglect. At Animal Friends, our Humane Investigations Department serves as a valuable resource for citizens to call to report animal abuse. Officer Hecker has worked tirelessly to rescue animals from deplorable conditions. This house in Garfield was the site of one of Animal Friends' largest rescues last year.
There was an elderly woman who inherited the house, and she cared very much for cats at some point, and she was following protocols with spaying and neutering and providing a shelter for them, and they weren't outside. She probably did her fair share of rescue at some point. The complaints started to come in from all of the adjoining houses and neighbors even across the street complaining about the smell and the stench. She refused to talk to us, to answer us. She just totally stonewalled us, so we knew there was a problem. So I got the Pittsburgh police involved. It was so horrifying, I can't even begin to describe it. As soon as the food was out, the cats just came out from everywhere, probably maybe 50 cats, just from everywhere. She thought she had around 40 cats. We're up in the 90s at this point. What we're seeing nationally is that more and more hoarders aren't just behavior disorders and lazy or whatever you want to call a hoarder. They're actually rescue people that at one point thought they were doing the right thing, and then it goes horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. Usually we have 1 or 2 hoarders a year where we're taking large number of animals out, and I think this is probably the 5th or 6th time this year. And it's not just cats, it's dogs as well. Pittsburgh is still a pretty active hub for dog fighters, suppliers of dogs, and dogfighting. We're still seeing the horrible overpopulation of pit bulls. Every 3rd house I go to, they're breeding pit bulls. That's not an exaggeration. Every 3rd house I go to, they're breeding pit bulls.
Animal Friends Humane Officers are educators first and foremost. If our officers can resolve the situation by providing resources and education, they'll do their very best.
We give referrals, we do transportation for people, we visit, we give them advice, we educate them. And when we find that that doesn't work and the animal still isn't in a legal and humane, safe condition, we have no choice but to use our police powers and get them out of there. At Animal Friends, once I deliver them to the door, I'm happy because I know they're going to get the care that they need. This is the other side of the equation of the rescue. And all these cats are in various stages of recovery. That's why we're gowned up. We don't want to spread anything. They all had some form of respiratory disease, and some of them are probably permanently damaged, their respiratory system, from living in the high ammonia. Yeah, when we first went in the house, this cat jumped on Officer Luffy's shoulder and was petting her face, and it was almost like he was begging for something, love, attention. He clung to her the whole time that we did the search. He weighed about half as much as he does now, and he was wheezing. He looks 100 times better than when we first took him out of the house.
We at Animal Friends face these heartbreaking cases of abuse every day. Thankfully, we also witness daily triumphs every time a pet comes through our doors. However, we can't do it alone. We need your help.
Supporting your humane organizations is probably the best thing that everybody can do because we don't get government money. This case, just this house, we had over $15,000 in medical expenses for these cats. And that doesn't count my time, gas, expenses, any of that. That is just direct animal care. And it's very expensive to bring back an animal from the brink of horrible abuse and neglect and give it the care that it needs to get a second chance. Supporting Animal Friends and Animal Friends' efforts to stop the overpopulation, stop the dogfighting, stop the hoarding and animal collecting that goes on in our community is really, really important, but we can't do it without the public helping us out. Between 3 cat hoarders and over 100 cats that were ill, sick, filthy, parasite-ridden, we were just stretched as far as we could stretch.